Denis O'Hare, or should I say Emmy nominee Denis O'Hare. I think that's your new official name now.
You can say that. You can say Sir Denis O'Hare.
Sir, congratulations on your big nomination for American Horror Story Freak Show.
Thank you.
We want to know, like, where were you when you heard the news? What went through your mind?
You know, I wish I were somewhere glamorous, or I wish I could say that I was hanging by the phone. And, you know, all honesty, I had forgotten or wasn't aware that that was the day they were announcing them. I was completely blissfully unaware. And I was walking down my street in Hollywood Hills, and where I'm staying, I live in New York. And I felt something go off in my pocket, a buzz, and I'm like, what? And I pull up my pocket and said, New York Times alert, you know, Emmy nominations live. And I was like, no. I'm having a good day. I don't want to think about it. Because I really had no expectation of being nominated. And I thought, you know what? Good for them. I'm just going to go about my day, having a good time. And so I continued on my long walk down the hill. And I was out by the Capitol Records building, and I got a phone call from my agent. And I was like, why is he calling me? This bad news or good news? And he was scrolling to the website, but couldn't actually find my category, and was like, hold on. I don't want to misspeak. I think, wait. Yes, you've been nominated for an Emmy. You know, I think it was doubly exciting because I didn't expect it. I really honestly thought, it's not going to happen for me. That's totally fine. And I was at peace with it. So to then get it was sort of really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Usually the older a show gets, and you guys just had your 4th season, Emmy nominations start to kind of trickle off. But this year, I mean, 19 nominations, that's more than you guys have ever had. What's the show's secret?
Money. We buy people. It's expensive, but it's worth it.
Oh, you buy the voters.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein, Miramax. You know, I think it's funny because there's a lot of competition in this category, and the competition is really ramped up. If you think about shows like True Detective, if you think about things like American Crime, made-for-TV movies that are like 4 or 5 episodes, Olive Kitteridge, for instance. So with all that competition, it's even more impressive that we got 19. A part of it is that we are blessed with a pretty heavy-duty cast. I mean, Angela Bassett, Jessica Lange, Kathy Bates, Sarah Paulson, Michael Chiklis. All these folks are amazing. Franny Conroy. You know, there's amazing actors. And not that the other actors aren't amazing, but we bring a sort of juggernaut of, you know, talent down the road. And also, I think that, you know, what we do is great. The show is great. It's really high quality. The production values are off the charts. It looks beautiful, and it's exciting and risky. You never know what's going to happen when you tune in. You have no idea from season to season what crazy shit, you know, we're going to pull. And so I think people are excited by that. And I think they also reward daring. And the show is daring. You don't get much more daring than that.
And I'd love to get your theory, not your theory, but your thoughts on this. This year, the supporting actors and actresses have to submit an episode so that, I guess, so the voters don't have to watch the whole thing. You just have to kind of pinpoint one. And your episode that you are submitting, or FX is submitting, is Pink Cupcakes. It was episode 5.
Yes. Well, you know what? It was a great episode because I got to bake. I got to kill people in fantasy. I got to show off my smoking skills. I got to be nasty. I got to, but all in fantasy life. And then I got to be innocent at the end of it. I didn't actually kill anybody. So it was the best of all worlds. In all honesty, I love that episode because it was witty. And what's a hallmark of Ryan and Brad and all the writers' work is that it's witty. The characters have intelligence. They have a turn of phrase. The situations are horrifically funny in strange ways, or horrifyingly, absurdly funny. And this typifies that. A man whipping up cupcakes in a tent, whistling while injecting cyanide in them. I mean, come on. How do you top that? I just love it.
I remember when...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, when I watched that one for a second, I thought that you had really killed Bet and Dot. And I'm like, are they killing Sarah Paulson in episode 5? So I'm glad it was
only a fantasy, only a flashback.
Do you consider?
I was actually torn. I was torn. I was torn between that episode and one of the later ones where I was actually trying to get Jimmy to give me his claws, because there was a great scene in that episode where I'm pleading with him in the jail door, and I love that moment because it was Stanley trying all of his wiles to convince someone to give him his hands, and I just liked it. It sort of put on display his con man abilities, and ultimately that's what he was. He was a huckster, and I just thought it was a great episode for that. But Pink Cupcakes won out.
I love that you're so invested. A lot of the nominees just don't care. They have their people choose for them.
Oh no! You have to. I mean, who knows better than we do what work we put into it, and ultimately what effect we think we're achieving. And yeah, you got to do it. Plus, I have time. What can I say?
I'm curious to know, do you think Stanley was a villain?
Absolutely not. I really don't. I had someone recently say, "Are you playing a good person or a bad person this year?" I was like, you know what? For one thing, the jury's out. I don't know. But the other thing, I don't think that way. I don't ever think of my characters as good or bad. Characters have a point of view. They have a motivation, and everybody thinks they're right. Everybody thinks they're right, no matter what they're doing. Iago thought he was right. Richard III thought he was right. Name an awful figure, they think that they're right. The villain, in many ways, was Elsa, who betrayed her freaks. And I didn't kill anybody. I actually never laid hands on anybody.
Right.
I persuaded Jimmy to give me his claws, but I talked him into it. I didn't kill Ma Petite. That was Michael Chiklis' character.
Oh, that was such a terrible scene.
I didn't say I didn't say he had to do. I just blackmailed him. Come on. If he weren't in the closet, he wouldn't be blackmailed. But Elsa actually stabs Ethel in her eye, her best friend. She's a murderer. So I resist the label of villain.
I would say maybe Dandy was the villain, and Finn Wittrock, what a breakout year for him.
Yeah.
And he's actually nominated against you, so you guys are gonna have to duke it out.
He is. I may have to trip him on the red carpet or something like that, or I may have to, I don't know, poison this cupcake. Here, Pink Cupcake. In all honesty, he's fantastic. I thought he was great in the part. I thought he showed incredible bravery and range. He's got a sort of feline ease about him that is ultimately watchable. I think he'll probably win, which is fine.
Never know. Sometimes these voters go in unexpected directions.
You never know. I mean, honestly, it's a great category with great people. It sounds stupid to say it's an honor just to be nominated, but it really is an honor to be thought of by your peers, to be remembered enough that they decide to single you out. That's an amazing thing.
And you had some scenes with Sarah Paulson. I would love to know, like, what were the challenges in working with her, because she was playing two characters essentially at the same time. So it must have been tough knowing, which one was which at times.
She was great. She was very helpful in giving us clues, because while she was acting, sometimes she would wear the second head, depending on what the shot was. If it was a reverse and they needed to actually see two heads. But most of the time she's wearing one head with sometimes like an empty space here. And as you were acting, she sometimes kind of go, as if to say, look over here, look over here. But she couldn't do both voices at the same time. That would just be too insane. So there was often an offstage person speaking the line to the character who wasn't currently being filmed. So that was a little tricky, because you'd occasionally find yourself naturally being drawn to their voice. They speak and you go, oh, and come back to her. I don't know, but the great thing is that it's a testament to her that she created such distinct characters that you really didn't ever have any problem knowing who was who. You knew Bet was the sweeter one, and you knew Dot was the troublemaker. That Dot was the sort of like hard ass that you had to really work hard with. And the voices were incredibly different. Everything about them was different, and they were very distinct people. And you never thought of it as Sarah playing two parts. You thought of it as Bet and Dot. and Bet's not here for some reason, and I'm talking to Dot, and now Dot's here, and Bet's off cavorting somewhere. I don't know, but you know.
There's a lot of fan theories about whether Stanley actually survived the season or not. I would love to hear your take on that. I kind of want to see a spinoff, a Stanley spinoff, where he's like the little deformed creature.
I would, you know, first it has to be said that that deformed creature was an homage to Freaks, the movie Freaks by Todd Browning. And our director, Lonnie Peristre, has a very odd connection to the movie Freaks. His grandmother was the mistress of Todd Browning. And he has in his possession, Lonnie does, Todd Browning's passport and other documents. Wow. And is quite an aficionado. So for him to be able to direct that last episode was really great. And he did a superb homage, I thought, to Todd Browning. So in a way, I was honored to have the Todd Browning ending. It was an honor to be chased by the Freaks and to have them take me on. I mean, come on, it's one of the great all-time images of him being chased under the wagon and being attacked by them. It is, however, very disturbing to think what happened to Stanley when everybody got slaughtered in the tent. Who's going to feed him? Who's going to let him out of the cage? Who's going to clean his straw? So my theory is Stanley is smart enough and resourceful enough that he conned somebody into coming into that, you know, that little pen and kind of going, and then they opened it up, and then he either murdered them or made a deal with them and had them take, like, I don't know, 10% of his earnings. And I think they went on the road. And I think he's self-managed. And I think he's probably got a website by now. And I think he probably is, you know, he's a little cult following. He's got 1 million hits on YouTube. That's what I think.
In season 1, you were the burn victim. And then season 3, you were Spalding with the long hair. I'm curious, season 5, Hotel, what kind of makeup will you be involved with this time?
Well, I mean, I can give you a little hint. I have, you know, this is my look, much more closely shaved. I've let it go for like 5 days now, but I can't tell you much more besides that without having the FX gods sweep down and take me away. But I will tell you this, it's been great. Mike Mikash is my makeup guy, and he's an FX makeup guy. So obviously he did my makeup the first year. It's 3.5 hours for Larry. And then Spalding's makeup was like 1 hour, 45 minutes. And Mike did that because I had nails and then I had teeth and I had hair. But Mike and I love working together so much. We always try to figure out how to make my makeup FX makeup, even when it isn't. So last year, Stanley's mustache became an FX job that had to be so carefully managed that Mike had to do it. And then this year, we're managing to figure out, for no good reason, why he has to be my makeup person. So even though I don't really have crazy special effects, Mike, the FX makeup guy, still does my makeup because we just like working together. And he's a great guy. But it isn't prosthetics this year. Do I have any prosthetics? No. My makeup this year is about 1 hour and 10 minutes, and it's just makeup. Yeah. That's all I can say.
At the risk of you being fired, can you tell us anything about the new set? Because you guys were in New Orleans for a couple of years. Now you're back here in LA.
We're in a studio, a soundstage, and they've built this, you know, unbelievable set. It's a hotel, and the main set is the lobby of the hotel and the entry, and it's massive. I mean, I don't know how tall it is. It's a huge room, and you walk up a glamorous sort of double-sided staircase, and then you end up in the terrace. And in the back, there's a lounge, a bar with beautiful stained glass behind it. It has a rain effect. They've already used the rain effect once, incredible rain effect. And it has a working elevator that you actually can look out through the glass of the elevator and go up and watch the lobby go away.
That's cool.
I don't even know how many stories it is, 6, 7 stories. It is truly spectacular. Mark Worthington, our production designer, is always phenomenal. But this year, it's the sort of glam factor that makes it stand out. It's Art Deco, it's simple, it's rich. It's also a little bit tatty and a little bit worn out, and it feels sinister in a very subtle way, which is appropriate, I think.
Nice.
Bad things are going to happen there.
I can't wait. And one thought on Jessica Lange. She was so integral to the first 4 seasons. How are you guys dealing with her departure?
You know, Jessica was an amazing ensemble member to work with, and anytime you lose cast members, it's a bit of an adjustment, and we all miss her. It's great that we have continuity, so we don't feel like, the family broke up. We still have Kathy Bates, who is sort of headlining it this year. Sarah Paulson, Angela Bassett is back. Evan Peters, of course, is back. Matt Bomer, who was in last year, is back. Finn is back, which is phenomenal. Lily Rabe, I understand, is going to make an appearance, which is fantastic. Ooh. So all of that continuity really helps sort of make it feel not quite so devastating to have lost someone like Jessica. And there's no doubt, we're going to miss her. She was great to have in the show, and she was great to be with on the set and off the set. And I don't know, we hope to see her around.
Mm-hmm. Maybe she'll come to the premiere and you guys can reminisce.
Well, I think I'm going to see her this week at a panel event. Okay. And that'll be great. And she lives in New York and I live in New York, and so we hope to run into each other at some point in Chelsea. Who knows? And
you were on the Comedians this year too. I wanted to bring that up. I love that show. I think I'm going to miss that show a lot. But what was it like playing the FX president?
I wasn't actually playing John Landgraf. No, that's not true. That's a mistake. I wasn't playing John Landgraf. I was playing a guy like him. It was phenomenal. I think John Landgraf is amazing. Such a cultured man and does such great work for FX. And anything I did that was in imitation of him was only meant to be an homage. And they say, imitation is the highest form of flattery. That being said, it was terrifying. I didn't want to ever, be accused of making fun of him by any way. And, truly the character was based on him, but was not him. His name was Dennis Grant. But I had a great time. I love that show. I loved the sort of looseness of it and the opportunity to sort of go off script. Working with Billy and Josh, you never know what they were going to say. They're both brilliant comedians. The whole cast was, I thought, really, really gifted. And Larry Charles, one of the giants of TV. What an incredible creative mind. I was lucky enough to work with Larry later. We did a movie called Army of One with Nick Cage and Russell Brand, which we shot in Morocco this past April. And I was so happy to continue working with Larry because of that. But I did like the Comedians was fantastic. It was just a great experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, final question. When you're walking down the street, what do people most recognize you from? Is it maybe True Blood or maybe Judge Abernathy from The Good Wife?
It's funny. People don't always recognize my face, but if I open my mouth, they usually know. They usually recognize me. They recognize my voice more than my face. I think it's because I do so many parts that I'm not always, recognizable. I get random stuff. I obviously get a lot of American Horror Story, and it sort of breaks down into demographic groups. So it can be an age group or a certain geographical group. It's weird how it breaks down. But I get a lot of American Horror Story. I definitely get a lot of Russell Edgington, True Blood. I definitely get Judge Abernathy. That's rarer, but those are the ones I really love. Every, 4 weeks I get Law and Order. You were the crazy guy. You were good. You were crazy, man. You were the crazy. I loved you, brother. I get a lot of that kind of stuff. Or I get the militia guy from Law and Order. Occasionally I get really, really random ones. People see me in a play, so they recognize me from plays or musical.
Oh, okay.
I did Once Upon a Mattress, which is a musical with Tracy Ullman and Carol Burnett. I get some of that sometimes. I was in Egypt at the Valley of the Queens, and an Egyptian woman stopped and almost fell over and was like, "Mr. Gilbertson, The Proposal. I love that movie. Can we take a picture together?" I was like, "What?" In the middle of Egypt, her favorite movie is The Proposal. I was like, wow. Yeah, let's do it. So we took a picture together. So you really never know. It's really insane.
Nice. Well, Dennis, thank you so much. We had some tech difficulties, but we powered through them. And
I feel it was as fresh or fresher.
Yes, this is definitely the one that was the best. But best of luck at the Emmys. I'm so happy you're nominated again for this fantastic show.
Thank you. And thank you for talking to me.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Okay.